All right, in this training, we're going to go over what I call the other side of the coin. This is having a better understanding of what these business owners are actually going through, what they have been through with merchant services, and how to separate ourselves and succeed in the task of delivering our message to the business owner. So I'm not sure how many people on here have or have not owned their own business, but I know a handful of the Easy Pay sales partners have on some level, or maybe even worked in part of a family-owned business where you have an understanding of what these business owners actually go through. So one of the things as an entrepreneur of a retail store, one of these small and medium-sized storefronts, is that they have a lot of responsibility to other people. There's a lot of people relying on them, whether it's employees or family. They just have a lot of responsibilities, and in their day-to-day task, they're constantly bombarded. There's just nonstop things that are popping up, whether it's some special or a promotion. They've bombarded with emails. The phone never stops ringing. They have a deadline, an upset customer, an employee that called in sick. There's just a lot to it to be a small to medium-sized business owner. And let's just use the word, there's a lot of stress associated with it for most business owners. That doesn't mean all, but just the average small to medium-sized business owner that we deal with, they've got a lot of stress. There's a lot going on, and a lot of them are handling their own stuff. So the point of this training, I want you to get into the shoes of the business owner for a couple of minutes here and understand where they're coming from and how busy they really are. And if they're the type of business owner that handles all their stuff, they're writing the schedules, they have to be concerned about their marketing, making sure they have an online presence. Many of them are even doing their own payroll. If it's a retail type store or a restaurant or a bar, you've got inventory management, and they've got to reorder inventory when necessary. Whether it's monthly, quarterly, annually, taxes are going on. They're hiring employees, firing employees, managing employees. You've got signage, making sure that you have your promotions up on the windows and things like that. Of course, you have the legal side of things, make sure you're doing things correctly. And there's a lot more than that, but a lot of business owners handle a lot of these tasks themselves on top of running their business. On top of it. So they've got a lot going on. On top of that, they're being contacted all the time. Merchant services is just one thing on the list here, but we've got telecom companies trying to tell them they can save them money, switch to AT&T, this and that. You got Quill out there offering office supplies and paper and ink and toner. You got that door-to-door guy coming in. You got people calling them or doing door-to-door about advertising and get your ad into the newspaper or some magazine or the high school flyer, this, that, and the others. A lot of advertisement calls. Then you've got your website developers. Hey, we can build you a website and manage your Facebook and all that. And on top of that, SEO, which means search engine optimization. Hey, we're calling with the Google partners, blah, blah, blah. We can get you on the first page of Google. So you got the SEO companies calling. Depending on what state they're in, there's energy regulations. We can lower your energy bill, payroll services, bookkeeping, and of course, a lot of merchant services. So on top of everything they're doing on the daily basis, right? So first, they're running a business. Second, they're wearing lots of different hats. They have a lot of responsibilities and the legal and taxes, that whole list. And then they've got a bunch of people contacting them, trying to sell them services, which is fine. A lot of those services these small business owners need, right, to relieve themselves that huge list of what they have going on. But the point is, they have a lot of people contacting them, and they're very busy, and in some cases stressed out because they have a lot of people relying on them, right? So now you understand a little bit what they can be going through. So let's talk about merchant services specifically on that list. They are getting a lot of phone calls just from merchant service companies, not counting the rest of that list. The average business in a metropolitan area is getting 3 to 5 phone calls about credit card processing per day. Per day. Now, out in the smaller areas, they're still being contacted. It may be 4 or 5 times a week, but they are being contacted a lot by merchant service companies, most of which are giving them the same spiel about saving them money. Now, if they've been in business long enough, they've switched. They've switched probably multiple times. Eventually, they get to the point in the cycle that we're going to go over where they start listening and they want to lower the rates and they switch. Well, any business that's been around the block long enough and has switched enough times, they're not switching because they're happy, right? So most of them have had bad experiences. Not all of them, but most have gone through something or have been disappointed with merchant services and switching in the past. Many of them have flat out been lied to. They switched for some great savings and it did not turn out how they were told. A lot of the times it'll cost them more money. The guy or gal gives them some great savings, tells them how much money they're going to save. They switch and they find out in the first month or 2 months, hey, my bill didn't not only not go down, I think I'm paying more, right? So then that happens. Now they're in a huge contract that they can't get out of. So merchant services has taken its toll over the years on these people. These business owners have been getting hit daily. And when they do make a switch and do put some faith in a salesperson, they're not always pleasantly happy with the results. Sometimes they are. I'm not trying to paint that every switch is a horrible experience. But over the years, they are switching over and over for a reason. And it's not because they're happy, right? So there's different types of merchants, and we're going to go over the cycle here in a second. But you're going to run into people that are actually happy with their processor. People that are happy with their processor understand the value of a good merchant service company. They've most likely been burned in the past, or they've definitely heard of horror stories. And they finally found someone that did what they said they were going to do. They finally found a company that answers the phone. They found a sales rep that responds to them, picks up the phone, emails. If a terminal goes down, they help them out. So people that are happy with their processor have been other people on this list I'm about to go. And they finally found someone that did what they said. You know, they might be able to find better rates, but they don't care. They have a good processor and they don't switch because they know the chances of switching can lead to something that they don't want to deal with ever again. They found someone they like, they're sticking with them. Then you have the people that aren't necessarily happy. They're not married to their processor. They wouldn't necessarily tell everyone to sign up with them, but they weren't burnt this time. They switched to them. They did save some money. They didn't maybe save as much as they were expecting, but it didn't cost them more. They saved a little bit, and the company's okay when they need something. You know, they get around to getting an answer, but they weren't burnt. As crazy as it sounds, in merchant services, when you make a switch and you didn't get burned, that's more rare. This is a crazy cutthroat industry, and it was abuse, to be blunt about it. So a lot of people, when they make the switch, as long as it didn't cost more and they get decent attention when needed, they're okay with that. That's not a bad experience, not a great experience, but you know, they're not happy, but they weren't burnt, so they're okay, they're fine where they're at. Then you've got the people that are just scared to death of change, and they might even still be with the processor that lied to them. A lot of people will tell you they came in, they said this and that, it isn't what they told me, but you know what? I don't care, I'm not going through this again. They are actually willing to stay with the company or the rep that burned them, simply because they get burned every time they switch. And they don't really care anymore. They're just like, you know what? That's how the industry works. You get burned, you switch, and you get burned. And I'm not going to go through it again. I got burned, and you know what? I'm at this point, I'm just running my business. I've got this whole other list of things that are going on. There's no way to solve the merchant service problem. I gave up. I'm staying with what I've got because it doesn't matter. I'm going to get burned no matter where I go. All right. So then you have those merchants. Then you have the people that just flat out hate it. They find out you do credit card processing. They don't trust you. Doesn't matter what you say. You could come in with cash discount, tell them you can eliminate their bill, show them on paper, and they are going to grill you. Even if you can sign all these people up, but when you get to the ones that hate merchant services, they're not going to believe a word that you say. They've been burned by good-looking, smooth-talking, high-promise merchant services in the past, and they're done with it. They're open to saving money. That's why they hate merchant services. They hate the fees. They hate that they have to pay this huge bill every month. But man, they don't trust you. They've been through it before. Doesn't matter what you say. Then you got the people that are just cash only. They may be cash only because they've never taken cards before and they've heard how expensive it is. There's a lot of people that are cash only because they've been burned so many times with merchant services. They finally got to the end where it was painful enough. They're like, you know what? I'm done with credit cards. I'm not taking them anymore. So there's a list of different types of business owners that you're going to deal with. And we can get all of them. With our program, it doesn't matter which stage they're at. We can help everybody. But that gives you an idea of what to expect when you're out talking to people. So this is what we call the cycle. Business owners that have been in business for years have normally switched multiple times. And this is typically the cycle that they go through. So starting up here at the top, they switch processors, or maybe when they first opened their business, they signed up with their processor or mostly the bank or something like that. So when they get started, they've got lower rates, or at least you would hope so, right? So they should have lower rates. So they're happy. I saved a couple bucks, don't have to worry about my merchant services, continue running my business. Well, what happens is over time, once or twice a year, most companies throw rate increases in there. And it's not a huge amount that, over 1 month when they do a rate increase, you're like, what the heck happened? No, it takes time. So once or twice a year, they're increasing rates. Maybe there was some bad event, their terminal broke, and they called in for a replacement, and the company tried to lease them or sell them another one, even though they're an already existing account. So that business owner's upset, like, what the heck? I've been giving you business for a couple years. I need your help, and you want to charge me for a terminal that makes you money. All right, that would definitely qualify as a bad event. That's going to put a bad taste in their mouth, and it's going to get them over here. Or after they realize the rates have been getting jacked up over the last 3-4 years. Now they're starting to get upset with their processor. Okay, and the cycle goes on. Well, like I said, in the metro area, they're getting 3 to 5 phone calls a day. It's not that hard to go find some competition that can save you a couple of bucks and promise you the world. And, oh, you need another machine? That's crazy. They're trying to sell you another one. I'll get you one for free and we'll save you a couple bucks. Perfect. Come on by. That's what I'm looking for. Right? So what do? They switch. And the cycle starts again. Now this cycle could be 6 months, could be a year, could be 4 or 5 years. But business owners that have been around for a long time, 10, 15, 20 years running their business or multiple businesses, they've been through this cycle a lot of times. And that's why they're in different stages of the types of merchants. How many times have they been through this cycle? That's what they're going through and have been going through for a very long time. So how do we overcome that? How do we succeed? What do you need to know to go out there and go against that? The number one thing is they don't owe us their time. Whether we're phone calling, whether we're making outbound calls, or whether we're doing door-to-door, they don't owe us their time, okay? We're going to their business. We're calling their business. We owe them a reason to give us their time. They are not obligated to give us theirs. So we got to separate ourselves. We've got to separate ourselves from the competition. Why are you different? Are you going in using the same language as other processors? Hey, I can save you money. I get a proposal for you. Let me see your statement. I'll be back in one day with a proposal, guaranteed savings. That's the language that everybody in the industry uses. If you use language like that, you're instantly labeled the next merchant services, and they're going to just consider you part of the next cycle. Okay. We've got to separate ourselves from everything else that they're used to. Have they heard your message before? Most people that you start talking with haven't heard of cash discount yet. We're at the beginning of a wave. That's going to change. In some areas, it's already really caught on, but there's still a lot of people that have not heard what you have to offer before. So they may think merchant services and throw you in the same bucket. Again, you got to separate yourself out of the merchant service bucket with something different that they have not heard before. Do they understand the message? Walking in the door, bringing up merchant services, getting thrown into that bucket, you're going to have to deliver the message sometimes 3, 4, 5 times before they understand what we're saying. Cash discount is a maximum $90. First time you say that, they may not hear it. All they're still hearing is blah, 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 blah. I'm merchant services. I'm part of the cycle. Yada, yada, yada. You've been burnt. That's all they've heard. They didn't hear and actually think about, hey, my bill's $900. This guy's saying it's a maximum 90. It hasn't gone through to them yet. So do they understand what you're actually saying? And asking questions. Whoever's asking questions is in control. Step 8, take control. In this case, of the conversation with the business owner. How much do you currently pay right now? If your bill was only $90 a month, how much would that save you? Are you happy with your processor? When's the last time your sales rep walked in the store and checked up on you or called you? Those are questions. Those are engaging questions. It gets them thinking about where they're currently at and what they could do better. And it's going to give you all the answers on what to actually say and deliver for them to want to do business with you. They'll tell you all the things you need to know for them to do business with you if you ask questions and listen. Overcoming the fear of change. So going through all this, we know what they're going through. We know what they've been through and why they're hesitant. Does that mean when we walk in and they say, I don't do merchant services anymore, not switching, we just say, okay, I understand where you're at. Thanks, have a good day. We still have to deliver the message, but understanding where they're coming from, we can deliver the message in a place of empathy for what they've been through. Doesn't mean I'm only going to say it once and I'm going to get out of here, but I'm going to say, look, I get it. You've been burned. I understand there's a lot of merchant services contacting you probably 4 or 5 times a day. Here's my message and I'll get out of your hair, okay? I apologize for interrupting. Again, they don't owe us their time. We owe them a reason to give us theirs. I understand you're busy. I know you get a lot of calls. A lot of people had bad experiences, but here's what's going on. Give me 30 seconds. Here's the program. It's called Cash Discount. What it does is you pay a maximum $90. Boom, boom, boom. Ask a couple questions. How much would that save you? What do you currently pay? Right? Repeat the message until they understand it. Use our tools. We have marketing flyers, but my favorite tool when it comes down to face-to-face is pulling the actual application out and the pages that have all the fees crossed out. I understand you've been burned. Most people have been burned because they listened to what the guy said rather than read what was on paper and what they signed. So don't listen to me. Look at the contract. It's crossed out. The fees are X'd out. I'm telling you, it's a maximum of $90. Look, all the fees that you're used to paying that you hate paying, they're crossed out. Check it out. Show it to them. Once you find out how much they're saving, if they're going to save $500 a month, start using the language of you're going to save $6,000. Always do it on an annual level. It's a much bigger number, and business owners should be thinking more on an annual level than just monthly. You're going to save $6,000. What would you do with $6,000? Would that be helpful to have $6,000 towards your kid's college fund? What else could you do with the $6,000? I'll say 4 times. Just set it 4 times right there. Get that $6,000 in their head and what they can do with it. Reassuring them, having some empathy for the cycle and how many times they've been burned and what they're going through as a business owner. We are there to help them. Okay, so I'm not just going to leave because somebody thinks I'm the last merchant service guy. If they understand my message, understand why I'm different, separated me, and actually liked what I had, just wasn't ready right now, I can live with that. But I'm not just going to leave on the first no. I'm just going to let them know, look, I understand why you want me to leave on the first no. I understand everyone else comes in here and you've been disappointed. And I understand you're getting 4 or 5 phone calls a day. But I'm telling you right now, give me 30 seconds and I'm going to break down. I could even tell you how you've been burned. Now, these things are going to come with experience and by watching these trainings. You don't have to have 10 years of experience to understand this stuff and be able to talk with them on a level of understanding what they've been through. You're being trained on it. You could go out on your first day and now understand where they're coming from and talk to them like that. You don't have to have 10 years of experience. Showing them you're educated is every chance that you get. You know, maybe they don't know what interchange is. Wouldn't go in talking about it. But if you're having a conversation and things are coming up and they don't understand why they're getting so many fees and this and that, well, grab your statement. Even if you don't sign up with me, you should still understand how it works. Go grab your statement. Let me help break it down for you. Let me show you your miscellaneous fees, and I'll let you know if you're on tiered or interchange. And they might not understand that lingo, but you're educated because you do. And then you can start teaching them. Easy pay is the end of the cycle for these merchants. And they should be told that over and over and over again. You do business with me and you will never have to switch again. The rates will be gone. Your customer service will be out of this world. I'm your guy. If you ever need something, you call me first, not corporate. I'll be your lawyer. If you ever need something, I'll fight for you and make sure that you're our account forever. Because the way that this works, you save a bunch of money and I make residual income. If you don't use our services, my money stops, and that's not good for either of us. So I guarantee you, I will service you like you've never been serviced before. I answer my phone. If you ever need anything, Easy Pay will be there to back you, and I'll be the front line of that. We are the end of the cycle. Thank you for your business. Let's get this wrapped up.